Hello Steelers and welcome to another Bench Report hobby update. Reasonably busy week this week. What with Steelard last weekend, I mentioned it in the last one. I can talk a little bit more about it this time because obviously it's happened now. That was over on Saturday over at Patriot Games, but I will come back to that later on. First of all, a bit of painting. Quite a bit of painting actually. I went back to the cavalry for the Warlord Epics stuff, and I started with the British 1st Royal Dragoons. In the set, in the starter set, you actually get 15 of these Dragoons. You also get, I think it's about 12 or so of the Scots Greys, which I painted the other week as well. So you can actually make up the three different Dragoon units that were at Waterloo or present in the 1815. So you got the first, you got the second and the third. So I've done the first here, and I've done 15 of these figures. So I've got another 15 of them to do, and they're going to be done as the third inner skillings. But these again, really nice to paint. Really enjoyed it. These are pretty simple paint jobs on the Dragoons, but they do look nice from a distance as well. So yeah, another unit ticked off from those boxes. They're getting smaller and smaller. However, stupidly, I consolidated everything else that I've got into the box, so it now looks as though the box is absolutely brimmed full again. I'd managed to get down to about halfway, but now it's full again with all the other stuff that I put in there. But I'll get through it. I will get through it. I was hoping actually to get the epic stuff done by the end of this year. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'll probably have about 90% of that box actually painted by the end of the year. You know, we're a month away from Christmas, so I don't think it's going to happen really. Obviously, Christmas is always a reasonably busy time where, you know, you spend a lot of time with family and things like that, so you don't always get a huge amount of painting done. But I then turned my beady little eye back to Vietnam, and I pulled out the 2 Cobra gunships that I got a little while ago through Roy, and these have just been sitting on the bench for a while, or at least under the bench, and I just thought, let's just put these together, see what they're like. I bought some olive drab spray paint just to speed up the process of painting these vehicles, and I'm quite happy with how these have turned out. Very simple, basically sprayed them in the olive drab, then simply ink wash them with Null Oil by Citadel, and then give them a bit of a dry brush with Vallejo's Russian uniform green from the Second World War, and that just seems to have worked really, just to pick out those highlights, few chips here and there, and then obviously a little bit of detailing in the decals and stuff, and they're done. So this is the Snakes and Napes. These will be flying in to support any ground units. And also, the other thing that I'd painted as well, which I actually finished really early on this week, are these. It's the first Dutch line. I've got them here. I'm not showing them close up yet because I'm actually waiting for flags. They haven't arrived yet. They're coming from Fighting 15s. So they're ready. They just need their flags, because unfortunately NAP flags seems to have gone down the website. I couldn't find it again, and that's what I've used my flags for in the past. So I bought some, but they seem to be having a clearing out sale at the moment, I think, by the looks of it. So they said they're still selling the flags and things like that, but they've stopped casting from what I saw on their Facebook this week. So if you want any of their stuff, now's the time to get it, I think. I think they're going into retirement, but I didn't realise that when I bought the flags. So I'm just waiting for those. I was hoping they'd turn up by the end of the week, but they haven't done yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the flags on the other Dutch line unit that I already did with those flags when they arrive. So that's the plan there. So like I say, they've just been kind of sitting there looking at me for a while now, but they'll come. The other thing I bought and got in the post as well was from Kiwi Kane. This is a seller over on eBay. I'll put a link down in the description down below, and they sell 15mm printed Napoleonic stuff, 3D printed. So I got a couple of caissons just as a bit of a tester really, because I've got a metal one, but these ones obviously being 3D printed are a lot lighter. There's a huge amount more detail on them as well, and they're lovely. They're really nice, well worth diving into, and pretty cheap as well, to be honest. I can't remember, about £5-6 or something like that. A lot cheaper than anywhere else I've seen, including the metal ones. So if you do want to check those out, go and have a look. It's called Kiwi Kane over on eBay. The other thing as well, which just arrived this morning, I'm recording this on Friday as always, this just literally just arrived in the post and I've been waiting for a week for it, was some river sections. These are from Warbases. These are pre-printed river sections. You can see them here. These, I don't know how long they've been selling these for, but I only noticed them on their Blue Sky account just the other day. So I thought, oh, I'll grab some of those, see what they're like. These are lovely actually. These are, you know, it's pre-printed stuff. However, what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to put flock down the edge or static grass down the edge and probably just give them just a paint of gloss varnish just over the top of the river itself, just to kind of give them a little bit of a pop. But there's quite a few there, you know, for not much money. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases there, A5 bases full of rivers that you can just cut out and use. And I just wanted some smaller rivers. I've got quite big rivers. The other thing that Warbases sent over to me, I've been discussing this with them for the last few weeks, I've been very busy, so thanks for getting back to me guys, is see-through rotor blades. Now you may have noticed the one that was on the Cobra gunship, that actually came with a very old slick model that Andy Shaw had given me ages ago. I just painted it, but I've been looking to do some of these for ages, and I saw the Battlefield Accessories over in Australia do them, but they do full circles and they've got printed rotor blades on. However, the cost of getting them from Australia to the UK was absolutely prohibitive. I just could not afford, I couldn't even, you know, justify affording it just to do it once. So I talked to Warbases and they have very, very kindly produced these prototype models, and these are fantastic. So you got your full rotor blade up, well, the, you know, top rotor blade there, and then you've got your rear rotor blade as well. They come as a set. I don't know how much they are yet because I've asked Glenn for a price just this morning to get another 13 of these because I need them for all the helicopters I've got. I think I've got about 15 helicopters for Vietnam at this point. I don't need any more. That's proper Ride of the Valkyrie stuff. But these are fantastic. They are, I think, 1mm thicker than the Battlefront ones, but that doesn't really make a massive difference, to be honest. When they're on the table, they look perfectly fine. What I'm going to do is I will paint them with a sponge down the centre, just like a black line down the centre, and then also a yellow line on the edge as well, just to give it a blurred look. A very easy way of doing it, just dabbing it around it. But they should hopefully really make those helicopters pop. So massive thanks to Warbases. Again, brilliant customer service on those guys. Really, really good, and just perfect. They said, Glenn did say he's going to put those on the website at some point, so keep an eye out for those. I will highlight them if they let me know when they're coming. So that's all the stuff that's been in the post, all the stuff I've painted. However, I've also been pretty busy playing as well. So first of all, it was Steel Lard on Saturday, as I say, over at Patriot Games, which is such a really, really good place to host any kind of gaming. It was absolutely rammed packed full, and not just of us lardies as well. It was, you know, half of the tables were taken up with people playing Magic and Pokemon and all kinds of card games and things. But it was a real nice mix of, you know, some of us older historical war gamers and a lot of the younger card gamers as well, and, you know, people taking an interest in each other's games and things. Really nice to see, and it's just, you know, it's interesting, I think, for them to see something slightly different in the wider hobby as well, and also for us as well. You know, it goes both ways, doesn't it? But I put on a game of O Group, Crossing the Veer scenario. This is from the 1944 Normandy handbook that came out a few years ago. It's a really nice introductory scenario because it's all infantry. There's no armour in it at all, no vehicles. So it's a very simple one for people just to get their heads around some of the aspects. I think everybody who played it and who were playing it was Ned, Malcolm, Tim and Chris. They all we played it all day because I knew that O Group we weren't going to finish it in a couple of hours. Normally at Lardy Days you do an hour, a session in the morning and a session in the afternoon and swap over. In this one I said no, we're going to have a full crack at it, because you get halfway through and it's like time to turn over and then the next people come in. So I wanted them to play it fully to the end. And it does take quite a while if you don't know the rules. So, you know, everybody I think had read it, or at least got a copy of it. Ned had played quite a few games of it, but he had not played it too much. And the others, I think they probably maybe played 1 or 2 games at most. So it was kind of like, you know, teaching newbies really how to play the game. And I think it it needs somebody to explain some of the nuances of specifically the combat patrols in particular. But the players really use them really well. The Americans just kept putting them back out on the table, which is really what you should. It wasn't for about 3 or 4 moves in before anything was actually deployed on the table. They just kept pushing forward the combat patrols. It was excellent to see. The Americans swept round the flank, got all the way round, pushed round, and they were just about to push into the village in the bottom end, in the bottom corner of the map, when a German counterattack. It was literally just beat them, and I think I'm trying to remember now, to be honest, who won at the very end of it, because there was 2 in it. The Germans were just beaten just at the very last minute, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if you're watching it. It's been a week since I played, and I've slept since then. But it doesn't matter. It was about the game itself, and it went really well. Went right down to the wire, and we'd not finished, I think, until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we've been playing from 10 onwards. So 6 hours apart from a break for lunch and chatting and things. It was fantastic. Really enjoyed it, and I think they all enjoyed it as well. And then on Sunday I recorded, because I played it on Thursday with Steve and with Dex down at the club. I played and recorded a game of square bashing set in 1917 with the British attacking at around Passchendaele Ridge, and I thought I'll just film this because I have got some square bashing games on the channel, but they're quite old at this point, and they were recorded in the old war room, so the lighting wasn't great. There's quite a few things wrong with them, so I thought I'll do an update of it. So that will be along. That has been edited, that's been uploaded onto the channel, but it will be along. It won't be along, probably I wouldn't have thought until after Christmas at this point, but keep an eye out for that. It should be interesting, and it's my ongoing quest to make people play First World War games, and it is such a great game anyway, square bashing. What's funny is I put pictures up of both games, so the games that we played at the club and also later, and in both of them, in the titles on various social media, I said this is a game of square bashing 1917 or whatever, whichever it was, and the amount of questions I've had of people saying, what's this game called? It's amazing. Like, do people not read things? Anyway, that's a minor gripe. And then this weekend, I'm free again this weekend. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up for a game of Charlie Don't Surf. It's going to be my first game of it. I'm just going to play the basic intro scenario of the Great Rice Hunt, which is in the Surf's Up supplement. So I'm going to set up this table after I've finished recording and editing this video, and then film that for the weekend and get that out on the channel as well. Again, as I say, because I've now got several videos backed up, that's not going to be probably until New Year, but it is coming. And I promise you, the Chain of Command Vietnam is going to be coming out soon as well. The First World War Chain of Command just came out just recently. I think the Chain of Command Vietnam one is lined up for a couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for that as well. And then finally, just to mention this, Blue Sky. I have actually mentioned it before here. I joined Blue Sky back in 2023, in about September of 2023, so it's been just over a year now. It was a very quiet place. It was quite busy early on, but then it kind of tailed off a little bit. But then I thought, because I'm using Twitter less anyway, after Elon Musk take over it, I don't really want much to do with it. So I kind of using Blue Sky a little bit more, but it was very much geared towards fantasy and 40k and tabletop role-playing games. So there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. It's just not really what I'm interested in. So, endlessly scrolling through 40k models is not really how I want to spend my time on social media. But because of the presidential elections in the US, there has suddenly been a massive influx of people over from Twitter who've just come over, and they are historical war gamers on the most part. So if you're looking for a new place to go, then Blue Sky is a place to be at the moment. I had about 200 or so followers for ages, for about a year. Then suddenly within days that burst over 500, and then 2 weeks later once again it pushed over 1,000 followers. So thank you if you're already following me on Blue Sky, but come along and join in the fun. It's like Twitter was 5 or 6 years ago when it was fun. My handle is at stormofsteelwargaming.com. If you just look for that, you'll find me on Blue Sky, so come along and follow me, and I'll follow. At the moment I'm having a principle of follow and follow back, so I am following people as soon as they join anyway. Right, that's enough of social media, enough of played and pained and posted and all that stuff. I'll wrap it up there, and I will see you in the next Storm of Steel video.